What's going on, boys? Welcome back to another trade recap. This one's a little later in the day. It's about 8:15 Eastern Standard Time here. We ended up hitting a trade on gold. Hopped on Asia session. Funny story, actually. So I was doing a Q&A in the Discord, just like a little Q&A, talking to people, for funsies. And we ended up getting off of the Q&A, and I was bored sitting outside, so I was like, you know what? Let me just look at gold. Haven't looked at gold in like 2 or 3 weeks. So I was like, all right, fuck it. Let's look at gold. Looked at gold. Beautiful setup. Literally, like as soon as I entered the charts, I was scrambling to get my Tradecopia set up, all my accounts linked and everything like that, and reconnected and stuff, so I could actually enter this trade. Because literally, just like as soon as I even got on the charts, it was just absolutely unreal. So we did end up taking a trade. I'm gonna show you here real quick. P&L for all you losers who are chuds in Pocket Watch. Here's the P&L ski, as PB Blake would say. Just shy of 11 grand, March 2nd at 7:38 p.m. So that is today. Anyways, that's the P&L. Go through the trade, everything that I saw that I wanted to take. Okay, so firstly, here in the 4-hour, right, obviously we filled this new week opening gap, right, the new week opening gap that we created yesterday. Everybody was freaking out about, oh, gold's going to go long, whatever. Filled this completely, ended up tapping into this lower. Technically, you can count this as like a fair value gap, right, because if this candle were, down here, the fair value gap is technically this, right, from, actually, no, it's not, sorry. It'd be like this. This is technically the fair value gap, right, because it's bottom wick, top wick. So treat this as a fair value gap, right? There's confluence number one. We're also in equilibrium of this 4-hour range. And this just looked really, really, really good. So when I got on the charts here, we were reacting heavily off of this 4-hour. And at the same time, we left this hourly right here, which if we're going to be bullish, we're going to trade right through that. If we're going to be bearish, we're going to trade up into this and then continue back down. And especially with this reaction off of this 4-hour right here, I knew that we wanted to continue higher with the news data as well, the war news data, right? Obviously, we're wanting to make that push higher, right? Unfortunately, as it is, we want to make that push higher, right? And this so happens to line up with an hourly gap perfectly as well. And as you can see, boom, reacting off of this smaller, more discounted hourly. Everything looked beautiful. We were continuing to trend up. And then we made a nice little retrace. As you can see right here, right, this hourly gap, boom, came into it perfectly for a continuation higher. That's exactly what I wanted to see, right? So I saw this reaction off of here, and I literally, like I said, I entered right away as soon as I got on. So this is what I saw, right? Realistically, the trade that I would have wanted to take would have been this one off of this hourly gap up to this high. I believe this is a 5-minute, maybe not, but we swept this low right here inside of the hourly gap, right? Boom, touches the hourly gap. Continuation longs. I believe there was not a 3-minute. There was a 2-minute. Unfortunately, okay, maybe not. Probably wouldn't have taken this trade just because, we kind of just skyrocketed off of nothing. Oh, that was market open. That was why. Never mind. Wouldn't have taken this trade, but that looked really. Sorry, that looked really good. Anyways, our market open gap essentially is what we ended up leaving here. We left this gap here. We got this low right here. Looked like we were going to continue back up for a reaction off of that. And then we ended up sweeping the low inside of the gap and tapping more heavily into this into this 5-minute gap. As you can see right here, right? And that is equilibrium of this range. Boom. Tapped way farther, right? So we just got a liquidity sweep. Boom. Then we also started leaving some stacked highs here. As you can see, high right here, high right here, high right here, high right here. And then this up here was obviously the hourly gap. The only thing about this trade that was not the greatest was that we had just swept out all of this low resistance liquidity. So if we had not swept this out and this was down here, beautiful trade, A+ setup, but I would say it was just an A-rated setup just strictly because we had swept all these highs out. This looked really good. It was a crazy draw on liquidity. We had an hourly gap higher. Everything there looked beautiful, right? So anyways, we got this push back down, and then we got a very, very, very strong reaction out of this. As you can see off of this candle, boom, this push back up. And then we ended up getting the smallest ever 2-minute inversion As you can see, still counts. I entered strictly because we had a nice movement and strong push in that direction. Didn't necessarily need the inversion. We did end up getting it, but in that scenario, boom, loved it. Probably would have entered off this if you're using this 1 minute. You could, this is like a volume imbalance. We just inverse that technically. So you could have used that if you wanted to, but I ended up using this tiny 2 minute, ended up inversing it here. And then I literally saw this candle close like as I opened it up. So like as I scaled down to the 2 minute, I was like, oh shit, that looks really good. And so I was like, fuck. Okay, open up Tradecopia, link my accounts, relog in back to everything, blah, blah. And by the time I had relogged in back into everything, I entered right here. Wherever this line is where I ended up entering. So I must have ended up entering off of this candle. So we came here, came back down. And as we started moving up, I got everything linked and I entered this trade. Or no, I entered off this candle. Yeah, okay. So came down here, entered off of this, right? Ended up pushing up. We got a freaking Drake penis candle to the downside. I got a little scared. I was like, oh, fuck, we're cooked. But I knew that, this hourly and this 4 hour was our draw. It's what we wanted to go touch. It's what we wanted to hit, just strictly based off the fact that our higher time frame is bullish. We have draws higher, right? We don't need to retrace any further. We filled this gap. This is a protected low. It's a low inside of a gap. All we need to do is go higher, right? We have this low resistance liquidity here, this trend line liquidity. Everything looked really, really good in that situation. So threw like $300 per account on this trade. Ended up making around like $600 per account on this trade for like 11 bands. But anyways, that was this trade, right? Then ended up exiting up here at this high. How long did this take? Decently long time, like 45 minutes, 45-minute long trade, something like that, 40-minute long trade, but worth it for sure. Ended up making some good bread. So anyways, hopefully we can start just pushing up higher on gold and continuing to go higher because this looks really good. Almost got break even here too. Check that out, that candlestick right there. Almost got fucking break even fucked. But anyways, that's the trade recap on gold. That's how I trade gold. Literally just fair value gaps and liquidity. It's a simplified version of trading NQ. You're not worried about SMTs, right? So that's literally all it is. You're just looking at fair value gaps and liquidity. Highs, lows, FVGs, retracements. Boom. That's legit all you're looking for. Just like I said, simplified version because you don't have any SMTs. So way easier in that aspect. But with that being said, clean price action. I mean, we'll see. I don't want to get into the habit of trading gold, but we will see if gold continues to produce and continues to make me bread because NQ, I'm sure you guys know, has not been treating me well recently. So if we can get gold to treat me nicely, then I'll stay on gold. Literally just depends on what happens. So that being said, gold trade recap, first one of these that I've done. So hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that. I'll get back to each and every single one of you. Peace out.